So when it comes to looking at ESG reports, they do matter, largely because when you're reviewing a company and reviewing a portfolio, there's been such a strong pull towards financial reporting for a long time, but financial reporting doesn't give you the whole picture. And so when I look for a ESG report, when I look at what makes a good one, I think about who reads these reports first and foremost. It's usually people who work for the company, investors, shareholders, or socially and environmentally motivated NGOs. And all of these audiences seek different information and deserve to see transparent, balanced, and honest depictions of how the company has operated over the past reporting period. And so writing a clear and thoughtful and relevant report indicates to audiences the level of importance that the company places on ESG issues, and ideally shows how the company plans to remain in business in a sustainable and worthy way. I say worthy because every business should consider its license to operate and annually review why they're in business, like why did they exist in the first place, and really consider what the benefit is to society and the planet. And these are things that get covered in an ESG report that would not be measured or necessarily taken into consideration in a financial report. So an important part of ESG is materiality, and what's material is what's worth including. It requires an organization to think about their significant economic, environmental, and social impacts, and also think about what affects their stakeholders. And once they've kind of done a deep dive and looked into materiality, you also realize that it's quite similar to financial materiality, and it works in parallel to financial reporting. The only difference is that ESG issues have their aspects to it, whereas it's quite different than just looking at the money. And what's material for reporting differs from financial reporting in a lot of ways, namely that human and natural capital can't be quantified in numbers alone. And sustainability ideally appeals to companies to do business the right way. It's not just about increasing shares. It's also about making sure that what your product is, what you're offering to the planet, is also not taking things away or making things harder for everyone, or having very negative environmental impacts. And materiality is the way for companies to assess and select topics and help them winnow down and kind of highlight focal issues that really matter to them. And from this process, largely due to international reporting criteria, this helps drive improvement for things like company policies and procedures, and helps them realize that they can start getting a bit more focused and developing targets and metrics, and that enables them to improve over time. So when writing an ESG report and when putting it together, there's lots of principles of writing that are important. And one very big one is balance. And that's a concept that really means that you need to consider the good and the bad, achievements and failures, and make sure that a report is highlighting everything and not just cherry picking different topics. And if a report is not balanced, then it automatically triggers a knowing audience that the company has selectively chosen data and may even be hiding something. And when I read a report, I immediately seek out the honest explanations of why targets weren't met, or whatever some of the barriers were to success. And if I don't find those, I'm instantly skeptical about the validity and the transparency of the rest of the report. Because without balance, it really comes across as more of a marketing or communications document, and that's not the intent of the ESG reporting process at all. There is no perfect company, and so if a company tries to give the impression that it is, it definitely raises a few flags. And there's no way a company always does well and has zero setbacks. And if they can't be honest about that in the report, a platform for which they're encouraged to be honest, then it raises issues about their integrity in other arenas as well.